Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. I'm here to take some time out of your busy day to talk to you about a game called Project Elite. And this is a brand new game that is currently in Kickstarter from Artipia Games, who before this was pretty well known for mostly Euro games. Actually, pretty much all Euro games. I've greatly enjoyed their productions that they made in the past, and when they contacted me and asked me if I'd be willing to take a look at this game, and they explained it to me and showed me some pictures of it, I said, yes, please, because as much as I love a good thinky Euro, I love the games that they have. I love Drumroll, I love Among the Stars. I was very excited to see this more crunchy thematic game come out from them. And when they explained to me that it was like a real-time co-op, I got really excited about the possibility of it, and I saw some of the miniatures and the molds and all those other things, and I was really excited to take a look. So they show you how the game is played is going to take a little bit of time, so I'm going to wrap this introduction up pretty quickly here. So just bear with me, and I'm going to show you how the game is played and give you kind of a good idea of the tension and the escalation of the game. And then we'll come back here, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about the game and why my group and I really enjoy it and why I can't wait to see the final version of this game come out. Alright, cool. Here we go, Project Elite. What you see in front of you here is the alien crash site map for Elite. This is set up, and I've already set up some of it prior to starting this video. But we do the setup based upon like the mission that we're doing. We're doing an extermination mission, and we're making a 4-player map, so we have 4 players. And then what we'll do is we'll place the tokens on the map as the setup tells us. And so you can see it's telling us with 4 players, we're going to set our extermination tokens on spots 1, 4, 5, 7, and 8. And we're going to set up in the first round an event, and then a boss, an event, boss, and so on and so forth. So I've already set up the event and boss tokens over there. And these are the extermination tokens. You notice they have a gun symbol on them, just like the action dice have a gun symbol on them. When you're going to be placing these gun symbols on there when you're next to them, when you can get a player next to them, and then hopefully then you can destroy them at the end of your action phase by covering up all the gun symbols. I did draw these randomly, so I did get lucky as far as 3 of the 5 have 3 on them instead of 4. So that's a little bit fortuitous and might make this a little bit easier. Like in comparison, you can see that on a medium level one, like it was like 1, 4, 5, 7, 8. On an easy, it's 4, 5, 6, 7. Notice how there's no events, but just bosses. So it does ramp up, and I can show you an extermination level for hard has even more of those, and then an event and a boss. Each one of those. So you can see, like, you can kind of just, depending on how tough of a mission you're looking forward to playing, you can. Now, you don't have to do extermination. There's other things you can do. Recovery, which is like kind of rescuing things, or recon missions. So or demolition. So there's other things that you can do besides just going out. But I do like the extermination idea just because it's very straightforward, and I've had a lot of luck, comparatively speaking, to the other missions just doing this one. So the goal of this is in 8 rounds, because if you run out of rounds, you're done. In 8 rounds, the players have to kill or destroy these locations. Now, I don't know thematically what they are. Maybe they're like alien bombs or alien hives or something, but they have to be destroyed. The players lose if any of the team dies. You automatically lose. Or the time runs out, or if any aliens make it to your escape chopper, which is over here, and they will be swarming that and racing over there to attack. So, to begin the game, what will happen is that each player will pick a player, and we have Lilla, Boss, Robcart, and Momentum, and each of these have 3 health and they have a little special ability like momentum, gets to move 2 steps instead of 1 when he rolls a move die. Rob Cart gets to search for items anywhere on the board, not just on spots that have the search icon, which is pretty powerful. Bus just won't take damage from an alien's movement. Some aliens, when they move close to you, they'll do damage. And Lilla can choose not to allow certain alien move actions to occur on her turn. Now, that might not make sense right now, but I'll explain it to you in just a few moments. So, before we can begin the game, and I'm not going to show you a full turn, I'm not going to race through the rolling the dice action dice. This is a real-time, that's a real-time portion of the game, the action dice. But to set the game, you do have to spawn, you have to draw 4 alien cards at the beginning of the round, at the beginning of each turn, to spawn the aliens that'll be showing up, and you draw 1 for each player. So we have 4 players, so we'll just draw 1. We look at the top, and so we got an advanced hound. It has 3 health, and there's only 1, thank goodness. And this little number here says that we're going to roll that orange die, and we're going to figure out if he shows up at 1, 2, or 3. Now these are tokens, and I did randomly place these, and I actually got 1, 2, or 3. But you drop those or tune them over, shuffle them up, and put them down. So you could easily have 3, 1, 2. So it's just kind of randomly determines, like where these things show up. It has a special ability where it says when the hound is killed, you place an acid token on the spot that it died on. Well, that's no good, because that's bad, because we don't want to touch acid. So, but thankfully, there's only 1, but he has a movement of 3, and the green here means he moves immediately when he shows up. So we're going to take one of these little hound tokens. I'm going to take a moment to show you one of these minis. Now, the minis for this game look absolutely awesome, and these aren't even like the real minis. So, I mean, the sculpts, I believe, are very close to being the same. Oh, wait a minute, that's not a hound. This is the hound. Yes, there we go. This is the hound. I apologize. Look at that. Look at those teeth. Yeah, that would stink to get bit by that guy. But anyway, so we'll go ahead and roll to see where he shows up. And he's going to show up at number 3, so he's here. And there's these 3 spots that have X's on them, and I get to pick where he goes. Well, I'm going to make him be back as far as possible, because he's going to move immediately, and he's a very fast guy. Now, you might not be able to see the arrows that are on here, but like in this spot, you'll see an arrow that is coming in from here, an arrow that's coming in from over here, and then there's arrows leaving here, going this way and that way. Now, that is the alien movement, and that dictates which way they go. So it may seem kind of random, but when you see the map up close, you'll see that it all funnels. It may kind of go around these wreckages spots and stuff like that, but it all funnels in towards the center. So we're going to move him 3. So we're going to go. There's an arrow here or here. I'm going to go 1, 2, and now I can either go here or here, but I'm going to put him here because I want to push him back, keep him back as far as possible. I don't like the fact that he spawns acid. That stinks. So, we're going to have that. And then we're going to leave this card out to show that, because we know if we kill him, we have that. So then we draw another one. And now we're going to have biters. They have 1 hit point and bites all characters within range 1. Now, it does that at the beginning of the alien turn. So actually, the action phase, if you're next to one of these suckers, he's going to try to bite you. But look, we get 4 of them. But they only have 1 hit point, so that's okay. And they're slow. They only move 2, and they don't move immediately. So I'm going to grab 4 biters. These guys kind of look like velociraptors, if you will. So, and you'll notice that this, I don't roll a die. They just show up at spot number 1. So we're going to just put the 4 in there. So 1, 2... where are my other velocos? There we go. 3, 4. Like so. Now, if I spawn something else in there, it's going to push those guys out. So that's something that does happen. So let's go ahead and draw another one. Now we have a shooter. Alright, so we're going to get 2 of these guys. Now, it shoots all characters within range of 3. Wounds at 4+. So that's, once again, end of round. So you don't want to be close to this guy. And he is green, so he moves immediately. We're going to roll and see where he shows up. 1. So just like I said, if they show up, they're going to push them out. And so we get 2 of these guys. So let's just go ahead and grab 2 of these shooters. And so if we put 1 here, he'd push that guy and push that guy out like that. And if we put 1 here, we can kind of push that way. And now we can move him. He only moves 1, so we're going to move 1 there, and this guy's going to move there. So, and the thing is that the players, when this happens, the players will work together and decide as a group what they think is best, to as far as the movement goes or what have you. And so then we got some more biters. These guys show up at level 2, and they're fast. So let's go ahead and grab a couple of biters. Where are my velociraptors? There we go. 1 and 2. I'm sorry, we get 3 of them. My apologies. And they're going to start at number 2. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, like so. And then they move at 2. So let's go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, like that. So we've spawned our starting aliens. The other 4, they start over here, and where they're going to begin their movement out. Now, before the game begins, each person does get to draw 2 cards. They can draw from weapons or items. And they can draw 2 weapons, they can draw a weapon and item, they can even draw 2 items if they want. I don't know why they would, because you want weapons. And then after everybody draws those cards, you can, talk amongst each other. Okay, you should have this gun, you should have that gun, you should have this gun, that sort of thing. I'm not going to worry about that, but I'm just going to draw some weapons here just so you can see some random stuff here. So, you have, the guns will have, the damage, if you roll a 4 or more, with the 2B gun. And then notice how there's 2 gun things here. To activate the gun, you have to get 2 of those dice. You're going to roll 2 dice, and for every die over 4 or more, you will go ahead and get a hit on a creature. And this is obviously range of 2, so a rep gun, pretty good, because the fact that it only has 1 to activate, you get 3 dice, but you only hit if you get a 6 or more, which is you still get 3 dice. So, and it's easy to activate. So you can see some of these things are more and more different. Like here's Seeker Gun, has to shoot in a straight line, and Infinity. That's kind of neat. It's a seeking weapon, so that's why it has that range, have you. And range is actually really important in this game because, it doesn't seem like it's it doesn't seem like they're that close, but they move so quick. The aliens, when they're on top of you, being able to shoot on your turn and shoot a lot of aliens on your turn is very, very important. So you'll grab these weapons, and also, you will, here's items. Here, just show you a few items just so you can see what they do. Certain weapons like damage boosters, you have to use up one of your dice. I'm going to get to the action phase here in just a moment, but any icon that has a red spot in it, once you use that, you've used up the die for that turn. You can't get it back, whereas in other situations you can get it back. For this one, obviously it doesn't have the red spot, but you can discard to ignore a wound, and any further wounds this round, which is amazing. Launch pack, move anywhere on the board, pretty awesome. Boost to a range, there's things like that. And of course, as you can probably guess, meta packs are plentiful, so you can basically heal yourself or a character that's near you. So after this is all set up, you've all got your weapons, everything, you know what you're going to be doing. What happens is that one person is going to set a timer. Oh, I apologize. Since we do have an event at the very beginning, so let's just draw and see what the event is for the first round. And so we are out of time. Oh, great. So the round lasts 20 seconds less. Okay, and you'll notice that to get rid of this, we have 4 players. So we actually need 2 wrenches and 2 hands. And we're going to place this on the board so we know it's there, and people can place the dice on there as it happens. So normally we'd have 2 minutes in our action phase, but now, unfortunately, we're only going to have 1 minute and 40 seconds. So you have a timer, or you can. That's very loud and annoying, but I'm going to go ahead and set it up to 1 minute and 40 seconds, like so. Normally we'd have 2 minutes. You can use any timer for this, but this is just the timer that I have. And then one person will say, ready, set, go, and you'll hit the button. Now, I'm not going to go through the process. I'm not going to frantically roll dice over and over again, but they'll start, and then the timer will start like that, okay? So, what'll happen is that each person has 4 of these dice. and they have 4 action dice. And so each person will then roll the die and see what they get. And so in this situation, that would be a very, very bad roll because of the fact that they got 2 of these little alien heads. As soon as you get an alien head, you can't even look at the other dice that you've rolled until you've actually moved 2 aliens. And you just have to take them, and you have to do 1 move for each time they move. So you'd have to go, this guy moves, and this guy moves, like that. And then you can actually look at these dice and decide if you want to. Now, you can leave dice off to the side if you want, and just re-roll these 2. You can do that. And notice this is all timed, you know. And so, and then, like, you'd have, you know, it's like then you'd have a hand and a gun. And so maybe you take this hand, and you'd go ahead and put it over there like that. Or you could take this wrench and put it over there like that. And hopefully the other players then, you tell everybody, we can't all use up our dice over here, so could somebody else get a hand? And somebody else, so everybody else is rolling their dice at the same time, frantically trying to get, you know, possibly to get rid of this, because once you fill that out, you get rid of it. Or, you know, they're trying to get these movement, when they get a movement result, they're allowed to move their character. Maybe you've sent your recon guy, this dude, Momentum, they can move 2. Maybe his whole role, you told him, you know, the player's playing Momentum, you get over here and get over there as quickly as you can, and, you know, set up and start, like, you know, taking out that thing. And so maybe he's using up his dice, like so. Because you have to fill it up by the end of the action phase. Otherwise, the dice that you're placing on these are wasted. And so you try to get that, you know, portion of the situation done. You know, the other things that you roll, obviously, with weapons. So, like, let's say you rolled a couple of guns. You could then, like, let's say you had, let's say, Bus here is right here. We've moved him out. He gets these 2, and he has that gun. At the moment he places those 2 guns on that spot, he then can activate the gun. He doesn't have to. The player playing him could just have that as a gun. He could have his other 2 dice, and he'd be like, I want to move into a better position before I use my gun. Okay, I get to move another one. Okay, now I'm going to use that. Or maybe he had an item, like maybe he had the damage booster, and he wanted to wait until he got a... So he locks down his wrench, a die. Now he's put that on there, so now he's got 3 dice for his 2B gun. And so then when he acts it out, he takes those 2 dice and he's going to roll all 3 of them, looking for 4 or more. You know, obviously he only needs 1 hit to take this out, so we roll, blam, you know, and you take it out. You kill it and you remove it from the board. If it's a creature that has takes multiple damage, you can just use other tokens and place those like on there like so, to do more damage and to take them out. Now, obviously, bosses are a little bit more powerful, and like I'll get to them in just a second. But unlike, you know, most of these guys, 1 hit is all you need, and you'll remove them from the board. But the thing is that when you're playing this, like the first thing you do before you even start, obviously, is you talk strategy and you say, okay, your job is to take care of this. Bus's job is going to be to get in the middle of the board, and everybody else, when you get your alien movement, you know, funnel them into Bus. You know, funnel all these guys into Bus, because he's going to sit there. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to roll. I'm going to keep all my gun, and I'm just going to sit there and just blast and blast and blast. And that's your like a plan that you'll have for that particular situation. Now, when the timer runs out, then everybody has to stop, and you can't roll any more dice. If you have dice that you can still activate, you're still allowed to use them. So like if you have, you know, guns that you can use or movement or whatever that you can still place, you can go ahead and do that. If you manage to fill one of these with gun tiles, you can remove it from the board. Some of the other things like recovery and sabotage, they work a little bit different. But in this situation, that is what that is. You can definitely go check out the rules on the Kickstarter page if you want to check that out. So maybe, you know, after all is said and done, you know, they took out, here, I'll just move the guys around here, like so, and, you know, like, and then they ended up like that, like at the very end of the turn, and maybe they killed the Hound off, you know, maybe Bus, they funneled him in towards Bus, and he killed him, and there's an acid pool there. Regardless, that's how the board ends up, let's say after the first round. Now, and maybe they cleared off the event, or who knows, just doesn't matter. Now you'd have to do the alien phase of the round, and judge what they're able to do at this second. Now, if you've destroyed all of like a certain type that was on the board, you just then remove that card, and you're not going to activate any of those alien abilities. You don't worry about it, and you just move forward from that point. Alright, so now we would act the alien abilities, and so there's really only two that I have to worry about. There's a biter over there, and so when we activate the biter, it just says, bites all characters within range of 1, wounds at 4 or more. And so we have Lilla over here, and she's right next to a biter, and so we would roll a d6 to see if that works. And luckily, she rolls a 3, so the biter does not hurt her, does not hit her, and so we don't worry about that one. And then we would also check we have the shooter, who shoots all characters within range of 3. So actually, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. We have 2 of them. So we're going to roll 1 for Bus. See if he hits him. He does. So Bus would take a wound, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll for our other guy. I forget what his name is now. the guy that collects stuff anywhere on the board. So he does not get hurt because I rolled a 3. So then we take one of these guys and we find Bus's character sheet, and we go ahead and place that on there like so. Now I think the rules actually state to like put 3 on there and remove them, but I always add. I think it's easier to add them on there. And so obviously he's hurt. He's not going to die anytime soon, but luckily, if somebody's got a medikit, maybe next round they'll get close to him and they'll use that to heal him up, and then they'll do a little, so you never want to lose because of the fact that you just forgot to heal or like just bad luck and you end up being surrounded by aliens. After you do all the alien actions, then the aliens move once again, and I'm not going to go through all that, but you move them. You can move them in any order you want, and so then once again, that's like the strategy. It's like move this guy. Don't allow them to bunch up to push other people further and what have you. So like and obviously you want to make sure that they don't get to that location. And then after you've done all that, you check to see if you've won or lost. The only way you win is if you destroy all these. There's lots of different ways to lose. The guy, as I said before. And then if you haven't won or lost, you go on to the next round. You push this over. And in this case, the big thing is that we actually have a boss alien spawn. And so at the beginning, we'll go ahead. And so we have Thrustar, not the worst boss ever. He has a 5. There's only 1, obviously, and then Whippix pushes all of the things within range 3 1 step ahead, which obviously stinks because he just keeps moving them forward. And so you can see we roll to see where he is. Let's see if I can let me grab the right guy. There he is, big orange dude with a whip. To keep him going. So then we'd roll to see where he shows up. And number 3. Oh, well, that's not good news for him. But he's got a 5 health, so we're going to have to, do extra damage to him to try and make sure that, we take him out. Now, if you do take him out, you then get a alien tech. And I should mention also that the last person to put the last die onto one of these that destroys it also gets an alien tech. An alien tech is just like you'd think, it's just like some sort of special ability. Ignore all wounds by soldier alien abilities. And like you might be saying soldier alien, certain things like, biters are soldiers. They have a little icon down there. So, alien tech is great. If you can get a hold of that, it helps you out a lot. So if you're the person who takes out a boss, you get a piece of alien tech. It just drops on the ground. It doesn't, you just put a token. So if he got killed there, you remove him. You put the token on there. You just walk over to pick it up, obviously. And then you can, but there's once again things that you can hand off to other people and whatever. And then you can then have that extra abilities. And then other than that, the game just progresses like that. Now, I didn't actually show you the frenetic dice rolling, so maybe you don't have a full grasp of how that goes, but trust me, when you have all 4 people rolling dice like madmen, or mad women for that matter, trying desperately to get the combination they need to do what they want, it is very important. There's even a rule, actually, in the books. If one of the dice actually falls off the table, the person's supposed to yell out, dice down, or something like that. And so the person that's in charge of the timer will stop the timer. Everybody stops rolling, and that person goes and retrieves their die, brings it over, and then they start up again. So it is kind of a neat little rule that they had. So if you have one of those people on your game group, and everybody has one that, like, they feel like they have to roll the die by throwing it straight up into the sky and letting them drop and clatter everywhere, it is it is a good rule to have, obviously. So there you go. I mean, that's how the game is played. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't show you a full gameplay portion of it, basically because I'm one man show here, and I didn't want to try to do the whole process. But I hope I gave you a pretty good idea of how the game is played. It's a heck of a lot of fun. But let me tell you more about that in my conclusion. All right, thank you so much for taking the time to watch that. I hope I explained it well enough for you to understand, or at least have a really good idea of how the game is played. I mentioned that in the gameplay portion that it was really tough to kind of convey the mentality of everybody at the table when you're playing this game. This is a game that, I mean, I played it 2-player with my buddy Craig, and we've had fun with it. But it is at its absolute best when you are playing it with 4 people, and you're all commiserating and cursing your luck as the game is being played. There is nothing more disheartening than when you send one player out to do one specific task, like whether it's like just maintaining the middle of the board and shooting the aliens as they approach, or if it's you need to go and rescue or recover that task or whatever it is that happens to be in that one location. That's all you have to do this turn, and they just can't. In 2 minutes, they can't roll like the dice that they need to pull it off. Or even more frustrating, you have somebody that goes rogue on you and just says, you really need to go and do this. I got my own plan. And they take off, and you're like, no, you fool. What are you doing? And so it's one of those games too that, like, I'm a big fan of co-op games. And I do enjoy it. I mean, cooperative games got me into this hobby. The idea that, like, everybody either wins together or loses together is a wonderful aspect of games that I think is fantastic. But it is one of those games too where there's been quite a few cooperative games out there that I just haven't enjoyed because I just found that the results and the determination of the game seemed to be out of my hands, and just like no matter what I did, there was nothing I could do. It didn't matter my planning, it didn't matter where I put my guys, it didn't matter what actions I took, it didn't matter what disease I cured. I'm looking right at you, pandemic. If the cards were just set up to nail me, I was just going to lose. Now, the argument I've heard time and time again is that it's the same thing you find in Arkham Horror, same thing you find in Eldritch Horror. The cards just show up poorly, then you're just going to lose. But you put some dice in this guy's hand, and no matter what the odds are, I think maybe there's a chance. And I enjoy the fact that this game allows me to have that just huzzah moment of, like, inspiration, of, like, the perfect die roll where, like, you'll be sitting there rolling and rolling and rolling and trying to get what you want, and then all of a sudden you'll hear one of your friends, just literally stand up and cheer. It's like, yes, look at it, and, like, you look down, he's rolled, like, all 4 guns, and he's destroyed one of these tokens, and, like, literally the table has cheers and whoops, and then you remember that you still need to roll dice because there's still aliens to kill, and you're rolling and rolling and rolling. And so, I mean, this is one of those games where I end up high-fiving the people at my table when we have a good turn, and also when we're like, God, son of, at the same time when we have a bad turn, you just can't seem to pull it off and do anything right. And for that reason alone, I enjoy this game, and I can't recommend it enough. If you're a fan of co-op, if you're a fan of aliens, if you're a fan of sci-fi, just because you're going to have those moments. It's going to have those cheering moments and those exciting moments and those wallowing in self-pity moments as well. That I greatly enjoy whenever I play my game. I should go get my hat. But you know, and also I should say this. It's like somebody, you know, basically it's like. I love XCOM. XCOM came out recently, and I've really enjoyed playing that game. I still play it. I still have a lot of fun with it. But finally, now I have the tactical battles that I'm missing from XCOM that I want, and I'm really happy that I you know, I have this game as like kind of like, oh well, I can definitely play, you know, XCOM, and I can have the whole macro experience. But now when I want to have the micro experience and actually go on these alien bug hunts, I can actually experience that and do that on that level as well. So for all those reasons and tons more that I'm not going to bother, I don't have time to explain to you, I urge you, if you, like I said, you like sci-fi, you like co-op, if you're a fan of like the XCOM tactical combat, this isn't really tactical, it's real time, but it is very tactical in its own way. But it's just, think of it as tactical, but somebody's got like a timer on you as far as how soon you have to pick your next turn. Then I really can't. My excitement about seeing the end result of this game is palpable for me, and it's too far off in the future for me, and quite, in all honesty. So there you go. That is Project Elite. If you have any questions about it, please ask away. I'll be happy to answer those to the best of my ability. As always, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, this is the Undead Viking telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. I'm going to go get my hat.